Hello, everybody. This is your daily real estate practice exam question. So let's jump right into it. We got a math question. Get your pen, get your paper out. I want you to do this along with me. And there are several parts to this. I'm giving you some trickier ones because I want you to get used to seeing some of the more tricky wording on some questions so that you understand that number one, it's not hard. And number two, we can take it apart if we go slow. Okay? So there's a couple of things that we need to know. There's a couple of things that we need to do in order to make this question more chewable. And we will go through that. So, Joan Schmidt owns a parcel of land that is valued at $60,000. Taxes in her community are based on 55% of the actual value. So they're based on 55% of the actual value, which we know is 60,000. What is her total tax bill, including special assessments, if the school's tax is 62 mils, the town tax is $3.20 per thousand, and the special assessment for upgrading the utilities is 21 cent per hundred. Wow. We have a lot going on here. So what's probably confusing you is we have mils, we have we have one rate that's per thousand and one rate that's per hundred. Let's break each one of these down to numbers that we can simply multiply right by the assessed value. So that's going to be our last step. Our very last step, what we're going to do is just take the value, multiply it by 55%. So we'll have a value, an assessed value, right? And then what we're going to do is we're going to take each of these and boom, multiply it right by the value. Okay? So there's a couple of ways that we could do that. Okay? Couple of ways we could do it. I'm going to tell you the more complicated way right now. The more complicated way right now is to leave everything in its numerical form that it is, okay? And then divide the value, okay? So 55% of 60,000, divide that by whatever the numerical representation here is. And mils, just so that you know, is 1,000, is 1/1000th. Okay, so this is basically another way of saying per thousand. Okay, so we have two that are per thousand, one that's per hundred. So we could just figure out how many hundreds and how many thousands are in the value that we have there and then multiply and leave it in its numerical form there. But I don't want to do that. I want to actually kind of show you what it would be to be able to multiply these numbers in the true form that you're going to have to multiply them in order to get the right numbers. So let me show you instead of tell you, as I totally just moved the wrong thing. Gonna move this up now. You ready? Here we go. So 1 mil we said is 1/1000th. 1/1000th. So 62 mils, okay, is represented numerically as 0.062. For those of us that know exactly how I got there, great, fantastic. For those of you who don't, I have here showing you how I moved the decimal over. I moved the decimal point to the left for every zero in the number. So it's 1, 2, 3. So I moved it over to here, which would be 6.2. Here, which would be 0.62. And then one more, which would be 0.062. So that's how we got that numeric representation for that. Okay, and that's representative of the school tax. So now we could just multiply that by the assessed value. Next one, we have this one right here, which is 320 per thousand. We're going to do the same thing. It's 0.0032 as the numerical representation. We move the decimal point over 1 to make it 0.32, one more to make it 0.032, and then one more because we have 3 zeros and 1,000, just like up here, and it would equal 0.0032. Okay. Then we have 21 cent per 100 assessment. So we have two zeros in 100. Two zeros in 100. So we move the decimal point over 1 to make it 0.021, and then one more to make it 0.0021. Then what we did was we found the actual numerical value for the assessed tax rate, okay? For the assessed value of the property. Once we knew that, we simply multiplied each of the numbers, which again, I find to be easier. We multiplied each of the numbers by our new numerical representation instead of taking that and then dividing it by 1,000, then multiplying it by 62 to get the same thing. We're taking one number and just running it down and then adding them all up. So the answer is 2,220 and 90 cents. Okay. And that should have been represented up here by the very second answer. And I'm going to put everything in the description so that you see it, you have it written down. So, guys, I hope this helped you out, and we'll talk soon.